Hello everyone, welcome to my presentation for IST 719 data visualization class. I will be discussing about different R packages for opening Excel data. First of all, why do we need to learn to read Excel files in different formats? We already know how to read CSV files in R using read.csv function. That is an Excel format. So we should be good to go, right? Sounds very straightforward. So why do we care to learn other packages? First of all, Excel files are wonderful ways to save tabular data. They come in different file formats which often help for cross-platform support. However, functions available in base R package cannot read all those formats. So what are some of the file formats that Excel supports? First of all, there are some text file formats like text documents or TXT, tab separated values or TSV, comma separated values or CSV, data interchange format or DIF, and symbolic link or SYLC. Other examples of Excel file formats include Excel spreadsheets that can have extensions like xlsx, xls, xlsm, Excel binary spreadsheets or xlb, Excel templates that can have extensions like xltx, xlt, xltm, XML spreadsheets, or open document spreadsheets or ODS. For this class, I have used sales.csv dataset from our class. You can use any other data you want. I converted the same data in different formats for preparing this video. First, we will look at how to read Excel supported text format files. Then we will look at Excel's native file formats. For reading TXT files, we can use the read.table function. This is a function from base R, so you need to explicitly tell it not to consider strings as factors by setting its boolean value false. We will specify that whether our data has header or not, and we need to specify what is the delimiter that is used as a separator in our data. Here, our data is delimited by tabs. So what about TSV files? We can use read.table function here as well, using tab escape character /t as the separator here. However, read.delim is another function in R that is actually a thin wrapper around read.table function and uses tab as separator value by default. If we use this function, we do not have to specify delimiter explicitly. CSV files usually use comma or semicolon as their separators. Again, you can use read.table function by passing appropriate separator value comma or semicolon. In this case, read.csv is a thin wrapper around read.table function that uses comma as the separator value by default. So using it makes our data reading a little easier. Also, we have used this function very frequently in our class. We can use it for comma separator or semicolon separated value by passing the appropriate separator. If we want to read DIF files, base R has a function called read.dif for that as well. It is fairly simple to use. We need to specify if our data has header. DIF files have an interesting way to organize data behind the scene where they save the columns in separate rows sometimes. So we need to specify that our data needs to be transposed before saving it into a data frame in that case. The last text file format that I want to discuss is SYLC file. For reading this format, we need a library called gnumeric. This provides us a function called read.gnumeric.sheet. We need to tell it the file name, sheet name, and if our data has header. While trying this code, I ran into an error saying that it could not find a particular dependency on my PC. This seems to be a well-known issue according to a Stack Overflow reference. However, it worked just fine when I tried it on Ubuntu. It should work on other Linux environment as well. Now, we will try to open different native Excel file formats. We will use read Excel library for reading several file formats of Excel. This includes XLS, xlsx, xlsm, xlt, xltx, xltm. The read Excel library includes functions like read Excel, read XLS, read xlsx functions. There they have different compatibility for different file extensions. However, readxl is a general purpose function and can be used for all these file formats. So for simplification purpose, we can use this function for reading these 6 formats of files. For reading Excel binary spreadsheets or xlb file, we need another library called rodbc. You can easily install it on R by calling install.packages function or from RStudio's designated tab. After installing this library, we can call odbc connect xl 2007 function that treats xlb file as a database and creates a connection. Then if we call sql fetch function, it reads the data and saves it in memory as a data frame. Usually we do not read XML files using Excel. However, it is one of the file formats that Excel can open, so here it goes. For reading this format in R, we need to install a library called XML. A function XML parts under it can parse the file contents as a string, then calling XML to data frame function on that string returns the corresponding data frame. But the problem is, after converting XML file content into string, it loses information whether it had a header or not. If the data has a header, it still reads the header, but just as a general row. So we have to explicitly indicate to R to use the first row as the column names. ODS is quite popular file extensions for spreadsheets among open source software community that Excel can open. This format can be opened using gnumeric library that we used for reading Silk files. However, as it has issues on Windows, we can use a different library for reading these files called readods. This has a function called readods that takes file name and sheet name to read data from ODS file into a data frame. Here are some of the references, and thank you everyone.